What if I told you an object of 33 billion tons just vanished from NASA's radars? This happened right before our eyes. Nobody knows where it went. What happened next will amaze you. We are facing something unexpected right now. The interstellar traveler named 3 Atlas is the third confirmed guest. This guest from beyond our solar system did something shocking. It shook the foundations of everything we thought we knew. If 3 Atlas's mystery intrigues you, this video. Let the universe know you are watching. Each click helps continue the search for the unknown. It did not slowly fade away into darkness. It did not quietly dissolve other objects before. No, it vanished suddenly and completely. This happened right after reaching perihelion. This is the critical moment when it approached our sun. In one moment, it was a precisely tracked 33 billion ton traveler. It was speeding through space. In the next moment, it was gone. There was no trace, no signal, no reflection, nothing. Our most powerful instruments were waiting for this moment. Telescopes were set up. Data streams were ready. This was supposed to be a moment of maximum visibility. Solar radiation would make 3 Atlas shine a beacon. Instead, astronomers saw empty space. This is truly disturbing. This was not a random disappearance lost in cosmic noise. It happened when everyone predicted the object would show strange behavior. This was the moment we had been waiting for. Scientists worldwide studied its speed, trajectory, and strange hollow structure for months. They watched it behave in ways no natural object should. Then, at the peak of observation, its secrets were supposed to be revealed. It vanished as if it chose that moment. 3. Atlas did more than just pass by. It bypassed us. It disappeared on its own terms. It left humanity's best instruments staring into the void. This silence is louder than any signal we hoped for. October 29, 2025, was the day scientists awaited. 3. Atlas would approach the Sun, passing Mars' orbit. This was not just another point on a map. It was a test. All telescopes on Earth and beyond aimed at it, expecting something extraordinary. When a normal comet approaches the Sun, the rules are simple. Heat and gravity tear it apart. Debris and glowing tails streak through space cosmic fireworks. We have seen this countless times. 3. Atlas did not follow these rules. It passed behind the Sun, entering a short, predictable blackout window. Scientists prepared for it to reappear on the other side. It should have been brighter, perhaps fragmented, but there. It was not there. The James Webb Space Telescope scanned the exact coordinates where it should have appeared. Ground-based radar systems sent signals into the void. The European Space Agency's tracking systems found empty space. 33 billion tons of matter, moving at incredible speed, simply disappeared. Scientists first considered the obvious. Maybe it completely disintegrated, becoming a dust cloud too faint to detect. Dying comets leave trails. They leave expanding debris clouds, field traces, and fragments. This time, there was nothing, not even the faintest glimmer. It was not a glitch or a calculation error. It was something different. It was an event that happened with precision, not chaos. 3 Atlas vanished precisely when the Sun obscured it. It happened when the world could not observe. This moment haunts astronomers. It did not just disappear in space. It used the Sun as a shield while vanishing. When a natural object breaks apart, it leaves a trail. It leaves cosmic breadcrumbs that tell the story of its destruction. We can track debris clouds for weeks or months. Dust remains and fragments drift. Space does not erase everything so easily. With 3 Atlas, there was nothing. There was no dust, cloud or fragment glimmering in the dark. The Hubble Space Telescope can detect objects smaller than a city block at vast distances. If 3 Atlas disintegrated, even tiny pieces should have appeared in those images. Instead, the data was empty. There was a clean absence where 33 billion tons of matter should have moved at a precise, predictable speed. Then, a second possibility emerged. Maybe it was a miscalculation. Perhaps it emerged from behind the sun, but not where expected. Here is the problem. The trajectory was calculated with surgical precision. For months, multiple observatories measured its speed, position, and acceleration precisely. They accounted for the gravity of all major solar system bodies. They considered solar radiation pressure. They even considered relativistic effects. The margin of error was tiny. To lose it completely would require a change so massive that no natural process could explain it. It was not that the calculations were wrong. They were flawless. This leaves us with something far more disturbing. The object itself changed course. It did not fly away, disintegrate, or vanish. It moved, or became invisible in a way that nature cannot do on its own. This single fact makes scientists whisper what they rarely say aloud. 3 Atlas may be something other than just another comet. In every close approach to the sun, space and light create a cosmic blackout. It creates a gap. Even our most powerful instruments cannot see what happens there. 3 Atlas passed through that gap. It was as if it was waiting for it. As it moved behind the sun, it entered the deepest part of the sun's gravity. A small push could change its entire orbit there. This is not science fiction. It is a well-known principle called the Oberth effect. When something gets a push at its fastest point, at the bottom of a gravity well, this small burst of energy changes its trajectory significantly. If 3 Atlas had thrust, even modest thrust, that moment near the sun was the most efficient time to use it. A light push could redirect it to the outer planets. It could put it into a stable orbit around the sun. Or it could send it somewhere we have not thought to look. The disappearance did not happen randomly. It happened when something unusual could occur unnoticed. No telescope could penetrate the blinding sunlight. No radar could track its movement through heat and plasma. When the observation window reopened, it was gone. It was not slower or dimmer. It just vanished. It was as if the object awaited that blind spot. It was as if it knew when the world would not watch. For scientists who live by data and probabilities, this is not just strange, it is frightening. If 3 Atlas maneuvered intentionally at that moment, whatever disappeared behind the sun might not have been just a rock. October 3 was the precise flyby of Mars, at 29 million kilometers. This is not just unusual. It is a statistically striking cosmic coincidence with less than 1 chance in 50. Any of these details could be written off as oddities separately. Together, the picture suggests something far more troubling. It seems more a traveler on a planned route than a wandering object. 3. Atlas did not just arrive. It performed a sequence of actions. Then, when all eyes were on the sky, it disappeared into silence. It was an actor, leaving the stage after the final act. When the object vanished, the reaction of world space agencies was predictable. We have seen this before. NASA released a cautious statement, choosing each word carefully. They emphasized the need for more data, time, and analysis. The European Space Agency acknowledged the gap in detection. It firmly stuck to the safest explanation: fragmentation. China, with the best view from a Mars orbiter during the critical window, said nothing at all. This is not the first time we have seen silence become louder than a signal. When the first interstellar guest appeared years ago, some radar data and spectrographic results stayed behind closed doors for months. The same happened with the second guest. Now, with 3 Atlas, the pattern repeats. Information slows down. Reports vanish into secret channels. Officials speak quietly, if at all. Some say it is bureaucracy. Others say it is caution. For many in the scientific community, it feels something else. It feels institutional hesitation facing the unknown. It is not due to a conspiracy. It is because admitting what does not fit the rules is frightening. Nobody wants to say the word artificial. Nobody wants to cause global panic or wild speculation. So, they stall, measure, and wait. Something unsettling happens in this silence. The lack of answers becomes an answer itself. Now, this silence is louder than ever. It stretches between observatories, agencies, and countries. It says that this disappearance is not just another anomaly. The question is too big, too dangerous, and too uncertain to answer aloud. 3. Atlas did not just disappear from the sky. It took the truth into the shadows. It seems nobody is ready. Even after the object vanished from view, the telescopes did not fall silent. They kept listening. Something subtle began to emerge in the quiet sky. A faint, rhythmic signal was hidden in the noise. It was not a broadcast in the Hollywood sense. There was no loud message or voice from the stars. It was just a background whisper, the echo of a passing train nobody saw. Astrophysicists from several independent observatories noticed it almost simultaneously. There was soft, repeating modulation and reflected solar radiation. It barely exceeded the detection threshold. It was too regular to be random and too structured to ignore. At first, they called it an instrumental glitch. The signal did not disappear. It persisted for days, then weeks. It jumped between frequency bands as if tracking something invisible. Publicly, the agency said nothing. Privately, letters and encrypted messages circulated in scientific circles. A few bold researchers confessed what others feared to say. The signal did not match any known natural phenomenon. It was not cometary tails, dust fragments, or cosmic interference. Something was wrong. It was not a signal you stumble upon every day. It had timing, structure, and purpose. Or at least it seemed to. Some compared it to the famous WOW signal. Others whispered that it might be a new form of interstellar echo. They said it might be a signature left intentionally or accidentally. Here is what made everyone raise their eyebrows in surprise. The modulation perfectly matched the moment of disappearance. It was as if 3 Atlas left an imprint on the electromagnetic fabric of space. It was final, quiet proof that disappearing does not mean nothing is left. It means something is still there, just harder to see. As rumors of the signal spread, official responses came as scheduled. NASA held a carefully prepared briefing. They calmly explained that the modulation was likely residual solar interference combined with instrumental artifacts. Their message was polished, thoughtful, and above all, dismissive. The European Space Agency issued its own statement, almost identical in tone. They mentioned routine data glitches. They stressed the importance of not jumping to conclusions and quietly shifted attention to other missions. What caught everyone's attention was not what they said. It was how perfectly synchronized their words were. Different agencies, different continents, but the same language almost word for word. Then, silence came from China again. There was no confirmation or denial, just absence. This made the coordinated explanations seem even more rehearsed. Independent researchers did not believe it. A group of radio astronomers leaked some of their raw data into private networks. It showed that the signal did not match any known interference signatures. It was not random noise. It was something else. That is how the quiet war of narratives began. On one side, institutions called for calm and patience, presenting a polished explanation. On the other side, more scientists and observers whispered that the truth was being hidden. They said it was not out of malice, but out of fear. It was fear of what acknowledging this signal might mean. If the modulation is real, if it truly comes from 3 Atlas, then it is not just a disappeared object. It was an interaction. It was a moment when something out there might have noticed we noticed it. No agency seemed ready to say that aloud. Behind the public denials and polished press releases, something strange began to happen in the background. Observatories worldwide reported sudden schedule changes. Telescope time, booked months in advance, was quietly canceled. Government research satellites redirected their sensors to the same patch. They pointed at the empty space where 3 Atlas was last seen. Nobody said why, but the pattern was clear. Someone, somewhere, still believed there was something to see there. Private observatories began to notice faint flashes of light near the original trajectory. They were not bright enough to call it a reappearance. They were enough to keep people up at night, running simulations again and again. They were not meteor trails or lens flares. They were not something easily explained. It was trying to track a shadow that refused to stay put. They found a blurry object. It was a faint chain of anomalies. Each one was insignificant on its own. Together, they formed a path leading away from the inner solar system. It was as if something had deliberately changed course. It was not drifting debris or dissolving dust. It was moving. The agencies stayed silent. Those watching from the sidelines realized that what began as a mystery was no longer a single object. It had become a phenomenon spreading outward. It was spreading in a way nobody expected. 3. Atlas may have disappeared from view, but its presence only became louder. It was no longer just an object. It was a message in motion. Do not stop here. The universe is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Click on the next video and join us as we explore. There are more amazing enigmas from the farthest corners of space.